If you've been planning to move to Texas or Florida, I need you to see this data before you make an offer on a house. We're halfway through 2026 and the newest migration numbers just came out and they cover a full year of 2025, and both states saw their slowest migration in a year. 3 other states just passed, and I'm going to show you exactly where people are actually moving now and why one of those states might be a better fit than you think. Quick note before we dive in, if you're actively planning a relocation, I talk to people in this situation every single week, comparing states and cities before they commit. There's a free location guide link below with a deeper breakdown than I can fit in one video. Now, let's get into the data. One quick thing, migration data always looks back at the full year that just closed. So this is genuinely the most current picture we have. It just came out and it covers all of 2025 start to finish. Nobody has anything newer than this right now. This is it. Let's start with Texas, my home state. In the newest numbers, Texas is still gaining residents. It added about 67,000 net movers, which sounds huge, but compare that to a few years ago when Texas was the single biggest migration winner in the country by a wide margin. That growth has slowed noticeably. Why? Property taxes are a big piece of it. Texas has no state income tax, but it makes up for it with some of the highest property tax rates in the country. Home insurance costs have also climbed sharply in parts of the state due to severe weather risk. For a lot of movers, that math used to make Texas an easy yes isn't as simple anymore. Florida tells a similar story. It's still attracting movers, but the state's insurance market has been under real strain. Premiums in many areas have climbed dramatically, and some insurers have pulled out of the state entirely. HOA and condo costs have also spiked. Combine that with home prices that just jumped substantially over the last several years, and Florida's traditional advantage, no state income tax plus affordability, isn't hitting the same way it used to for a lot of relocating families. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Tennessee gained about 42,000 net movers in 2025, and unlike Texas and Florida, that number has been climbing, not slowing. Tennessee has no state income tax like Texas and Florida, but it doesn't carry the same property tax burden as Texas, and it doesn't have Florida's insurance crisis. Homeowners insurance here is dramatically more stable. And zooming out to the region, the Carolinas and Tennessees together are pulling ahead of the traditional Sun Belt leaders. North Carolina was actually the #1 state for net migration in the entire country in 2025. Let's put it side by side. On income tax, it's three-way tie. Texas, Florida, and Tennessee all have 0 state income tax. On property tax, Tennessee comes in meaningfully lower than Texas. On insurance costs, Tennessee is far more stable than Florida, which is dealing with a genuine crisis in its coverage market. On home prices, Tennessee, especially outside of the most in-demand pockets, still offers more room than the coastal Florida or Austin area Texas. And on schools, Williamson County, Tennessee consistently ranks among the top public school systems in the entire Southeast, which matters enormously if you're relocating with kids, like I did. So if you've ruled out Texas or Florida, or you just want to see what else is out there before you commit, Williamson County is where I'd point you. It's the corridor that includes Brentwood, Franklin, and Fairview just south of Nashville. You get the Nashville job market and airport access without living inside of Davidson County, which is high in property taxes. Plus some of the best public schools in the state and a lot more green space than you'd find in a typical Sun Belt suburb. Brentwood and Franklin are higher demand, higher price points. Fairview is the value alternative if you want the same access with more breathing room in your budget. Let me answer a few of the questions I get asked constantly about this exact decision. Okay, is Tennessee actually cheaper than Texas or Florida? For most day-to-day costs, yes. Groceries, utilities, and general cost of living in Middle Tennessee run close to the national average. Where Tennessee pulls ahead is the bigger annual cost. Property taxes are meaningfully lower than Texas, and you're not paying the escalating homeowner insurance premiums that a lot of Florida homeowners are now dealing with right now. Add those up over a few years and the gap is real. Okay, what's it like moving to Tennessee from California? The biggest shift is your paycheck going further immediately. No state income tax versus California's plus a home budget. that stretches noticeably further in Williamson County than in most California metros. The trade-off is climate and coastline, obviously, but for families prioritizing school quality, safety, and getting more house for the money, it's consistently the number one reason clients give me for moving here. All right, what's it like moving to Tennessee from New York? Similar story. No state or city income tax stacking on top of each other. Plus, Nashville International Airport gives you real direct flight access back to the Northeast, which matters a lot if you still got family or business ties up there. Most New York transplants I work with are surprised by how much land and square footage their budget suddenly covers. All right, is Williamson County, Tennessee a good place to raise a family? It's one of the top ranked public school systems in the entire state, with low crime and a genuinely strong sense of community across Brentwood, Franklin, and Fairview. If schools and safety are driving your relocation decision, and for most families I work with, this is consistently one of the strongest answers in the entire Southeast, not just Tennessee. And it's why I moved my family here. If you're weighing Texas, Florida, Tennessee, or anywhere else in the Sun Belt, I'd rather you make that decision with actual data in front of you than a 5-year-old assumption. If Tennessee is on your list, even as a maybe, click the link below for my free relocation guide or reach out directly and let's talk through your specific situation. If you want to go deeper on Franklin versus Brentwood versus Fairview, that comparison video is right here. For more content, please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.